Good morning. It is good to see all of you online today. I'm Jo Celine, OUUC Media Specialist. We are leading worship from several locations today. As the service moves back and forth between us, you will be able to see whoever is speaking if you put your screen on speaker view rather than gallery view. And you can see us singing together if you go back to gallery view. We'll also be using the chat box throughout the service to post the song lyrics and to share from the heart. You can turn the chat off and on by clicking the chat icon, so you might want to find that now. We can expect some tech glitches as we continue to do all we can to optimize our connections. If you are having trouble with your reception, you might try turning off your video to see if that helps. We appreciate the grace as we all remember it's about connection, not perfection. Last, I hope you will find a candle or a chalice, and in a moment, we can light them together. Thank you for your grace and adaptability as we all learn together.
Good morning. Let's sing a song together. We're going to sing hymn number 118 out of the gray hymnal, This Little Light of Mine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Well, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Well, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up this world, I'm gonna let it shine. And building up this world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up this world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Thank you for singing.
Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation online worship service. The OUUC community comes together in the mutual promises and possibilities of our covenant. We commit to live out our mission to be a liberal religious community that opens minds, fills hearts, and transforms lives. We're so glad that you're here today. My name is Ann Radford, and I'm a member of the Worship Arts Committee. Leading worship with me today is our minister, Reverend Mary Geer, Sarah Lewis, our Director of Community and Faith Development, and Troy Fisher, our Music Director. We give thanks for the tech team for providing technical support today. And many thanks to Darlene Sarkala, our administrator, for keeping us informed and connected. And we're grateful for the many hands that helped make worship happen this morning. We welcome each of you to this congregation, and we welcome you to the celebration of love and wonder. After the service, we invite you to stay online for a virtual coffee chat. This is a chance to gather with a small group to say hello and check in. Each breakout room will be hosted by someone to help make sure everyone knows each other and has a chance to share. Reverend Mary will offer a reflection question to get the conversation started. We hope you'll stay. Our order of service, which includes our announcements, is available on our website. I'll highlight several of those announcements this morning, starting with some changes to the electronic update that will begin this week. You'll receive the usual update of events on Tuesday rather than Wednesday. Then on Thursday, you'll get some inspiration in your box with the weekly spark. Stay tuned for more information this week. Next Sunday is a busy day at OUUC. After the Sunday service, we'll hold our monthly Q&A session with Reverend Mary and Joe Solin to give an update on our new website and show you how to be involved. Later that afternoon, from 3 to 4, there's another opportunity for giving and receiving during a drive-through at OUUC. You can drop off donations for the food bank and receive guest at your table boxes to support the UU Service Committee. There's more information about this in the weekly update. We hope to see you for all the activities next Sunday. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Let's spread some holiday comfort and cheer this year. We will do Thanksgiving pals to deliver home-cooked meals. Thanksgiving meals to those who are alone for the holidays this year. If you're alone, please sign up to receive. If you are cooking and could provide a meal to a pal, sign up to deliver. There are many opportunities to stay connected to our community because social distancing does not mean social isolation. If you have questions or need help, please check in with a staff member. Now, let us open our hearts and minds as we prepare for worship. Welcome, everyone. It's good to be together.
Good morning. This morning and every Sunday morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world in lighting a chalice, the symbol of our faith tradition. Please join me as we light our chalices together with these words from the Reverend Mark Bellatini. Let the difficulties of the week step aside and take their Sabbath now, their brief and simple rest. Let the coming silence be like hands pulling back a curtain, revealing the table set with the feast of life which is present here now and has been the whole while. Our opening words this morning are offered by the Reverend Angela Herrera. Don't leave your broken heart at the door. Bring it to the altar of life. Don't leave your anger behind. It has high standards. And the world needs vision. Bring them with you, and your joy and your passion. Bring your loving and your courage and your conviction. Bring your need for healing and your powers to heal. There is work to do, and we have all that we need right here in this room. Come and let us worship together.
Let's sing together again. We'll sing out of the great hymnal, hymn number 348, Guide My Feet. If you don't have a hymnal, you can find the lyrics in the chat. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run
We are so grateful to welcome 7 new members to OUUC today. With gratitude for each of them and for Sarah Lewis for putting a video together, we'll share that video now of those who are seeking membership.
I'm also so excited for you all to get to meet the other new members joining the congregation today. These are really great people, and I think you're just going to love them. Thank you so much for welcoming us all.
My name is Zoshra Binowitz. My pronouns are they, them, and theirs. I actually grew up Unitarian and then kind of fell away from the church when I went to college about 11 years ago. Me returning to OUUC is part of me finding my spirituality again.
What first drew me to OUUC? Really, it was the emphasis on social justice and environmental justice issues. I really appreciate that that level of community engagement is there, and it's something that really, really appeals to me.
My name is Robin Hale. I prefer she or they pronouns. I've been attending UU's on and off since high school, most recently in Boone, North Carolina.
Hello, my name is Mary Wildenhaus. I was born to a large Catholic family in rural Ohio. My family was very religious, and at a young age, I entered the convent. It was there through study and reflection and discussion that I learned to question many things, including our religious teachings. So I left after 11 years and eventually married Bob, but I have been a lifelong seeker.
My journey up to this point in my life has been one little detour after another, I guess. I've literally been around the world, prior service military, I guess pre-midlife crisis, career change, all that stuff.
Bob and I moved to Olympia in 1991, where Bob was a nursing home administrator and I was a teacher in the Olympia schools. We're lucky that our 3 sons live in the Northwest too. You may recognize me because I've been a friend of the Unitarian Church for at least 12 years. I came to Unitarian Church because I liked the inspirational services and the focus on living the 7 principles instead of ascribing to dogma and beliefs.
Hi everyone, I'm Liz and my pronouns are she, her. I first came to OUUC as a visitor one Sunday in 2018, pretty soon after I had moved from Alaska to Olympia. I was really missing home back then, and I was looking for some sense, somehow, of community here. Music has always been a really important part of me. It's really one of the few things I've managed to carry with me through many moves over many miles over the years. So a few weeks before that Sunday, I'd started singing with this great local group called Olympia Musical Theater. And when I looked up at the choir singing in the risers that morning, I was pretty surprised to see several faces that I recognized. That right there might have been the first time that Olympia really felt like home. As the choir exited the sanctuary that service, our friend Bobby Murray, who was one of those familiar faces, paused right by me. She bent over and she gave me the warmest hug I think I had felt in months. And she said, "You should join the choir."
I moved to Olympia just before the pandemic started. It's a pretty strange time to be in a new place, but I've stayed grounded through meditation, a loving kindness practice, as well as a lot of time outside.
I started attending UU about 13 years ago. I was raised in the Catholic Church. Even though I haven't been a practicing Catholic for many years, it's part of my heritage and has greatly influenced the person I am. For whatever reason, my mindset has been that I have to give that up or deny it to embrace another faith. Must have been my Catholic guilt speaking. But on the contrary, I have felt further drawn to the UU community by the increased spirituality and the high level of emphasis on social justice work, which has brought me to the decision now to become a member.
So it looks like we have just a little bit of a pause in the video. I am certain that Joe is working on it.
Joe's power's out, so I think one of the rest of us will have to do
okay.
So just let's see if we can.
All right. So
hang on, I've got it. Let me see if I can cue it up here.
Okay.
Where we were.
We'll give you just a second then. This is an opportunity to just take a breath. Thank you, Sharon.
Okay, I think I got close here. Let me see if I can do a quick share. There's my screen share button. Oh, wait, I don't know if I got that. Oh.
Even though I haven't been a practicing Catholic for many years, it's part of my heritage and has greatly influenced the person I am. For whatever reason, my mindset has been that I have to give that up or deny it to embrace another faith. Must have been my Catholic guilt speaking. But on the contrary, I have felt further drawn to the UU community by the increased spirituality and the high level of emphasis on social justice work, which has brought me to the decision now to become a member.
I believe very strongly in the value of well-rounded educational backgrounds and diverse experiences, especially in the context of discussing spirituality, philosophy, social justice, and environmental justice issues. As an exceedingly nerdy, agnostic, transgender veteran, I'd like to think that I do have a little bit of that to contribute to the community, and hopefully that'll be a positive contribution. In return, I hope to find a sense of community and belonging that I really struggled to find elsewhere. And I'm especially hoping to make Olympia my forever home. So if I can do that and get engaged with the community there, that'll be an extra bonus.
I've been looking for more community, a new place, and OUC really drew me in, especially with all the small groups that are available and everything that's happening online through Zoom right now. I'm really impressed by how welcoming the community still is this time. I look forward to seeing you in person one day.
It was during this COVID time that I really began to think about becoming a member, recognizing the value of community and working together to live our 7 principles. So I took the membership classes, and now I hope to be a member of this community and that I can do my part in living the 7 principles as a member of the Unitarian Church. Thank you.
OUUC has become a central part of my community, and Olympia really has become my home. I am so grateful for everything that we have here. Amazing music, wonderful people, living and breathing justice work, real roots, and real visions for our community going forward.
Thank you so much. I'm noticing that our logins have decreased significantly and we've lost some folks, so I suspect there might be some power outages around the city. So thanks for the grace as we navigate the technology these days. So in this moment, we would like to welcome our new members, Anne, Liz, Mary, Robin, Ryan, Sarah, and Zosh. We take this time to celebrate your commitment to membership in the Olympia Unitarian Universalist congregation, and we recognize your commitment in a worship service as we hold up that which is of worth, sharing our voices in song, sharing words and silence, sharing our joys and sorrows, sharing our work for justice, and sharing ministry. Joining OUUC means being a part of this gathered community in all the ways we gather, speaking out on the future of our congregation, offering and receiving gifts of the Spirit, supporting others, and being supported in return. If you will join us in this mission and this work, would you please unmute yourselves now and say, I will.
I will.
I will.
I will.
I will.
We welcome you as new members of our community this morning. You have come to worship, play, work, and grow among us. Ours is a free fellowship. We have no creeds, and you are free to bring your ideas and beliefs to this congregation to share with others. I invite you to join with us in the religious search for meaning and purpose in life, informed by our individual beliefs and the traditions of Unitarian Universalism.
Will the members of the congregation please join me in saying the words printed in your order of service and also in the Zoom chat? We receive you with open hands and hearts. As you join us, we once again renew our own commitment to this religious community and to our shared vision, to be a liberal, religious community that opens minds, fills hearts, and transforms lives. We are proud and happy to have you among us. Welcome.
We come together in covenant, making mutual promises to be generous, responsive, engaged, responsible, direct, honest, and loving. We are called to this covenant and by each other to be willing to transform ourselves into the community that we desire to be. Thank you so much for creating community for this journey together. Welcome to each of you. We came together in community this morning, bringing all that it is in our lives. It has been quite a week. In this space, we draw on the strength of our community to listen deeply and hold all that we bring here with us. If you would like to send in something to share, please look for the link in the online worship page on the website, and we'll bring it into the service next week. In this space, we share from our hearts what brings us joy and sorrow, what brings us delight and worry, what makes us dance, and what makes us anxious. Let's open our hearts to the complexity of life, ours and others. And in this time of political and other divisions, please recognize that we hold different opinions and be attentive to sharing in a way that bridges the divides rather than increasing them. You will hear a drum beat as we share today. It brings into our awareness that our individual hearts beat, and together we create the heartbeat of our community. Right now, I invite us to take a breath together, in and out, as we open our hearts to receive the complexity of all that is in our lives today. As we celebrate Veterans Day this week, we take a moment today to say thank you to those of you who have served in the Air Force, Army, Coast Guard, Navy, and Marines. Whatever your role, wherever your service took you. Thank you to those whose service was brief or long, to those who remember their service with fondness, and to those whose time in service still haunts them. Thank you for defending our democracy and our country. I invite you to share from your heart by entering in the chat box on your screen. This is a time to share all that you wish, joys and sorrows and whatever else is shared from your heart. As we take in what is posted, let us hear the heartbeat of our community and reach out our hearts in love and care to all those who share. I place a stone in the water for all that has been shared from the heart, a stone holding the complexity of our lives, held in the water of community. And I place one more stone in the water for all that we hold in our hearts and that remains unspoken. I invite you now into a time of reflection, prayer, and meditation. Infinite web of life, spirit of love, mystery, and wonder. On this day, may we give thanks Thank you for this day. Thank you for this community. Thank you for this time together. As we set aside time today to disconnect from the challenges of daily life, in this Sabbath time, we are grateful for the many ways that we are connected in sacred space. We gather together. We pray together. We breathe together. Breathe in peace. Breathe out love. Breathe. Let us hold a moment of silence together.
Let's sing together hymn number 90, From All the Fret and Fever of the Day. From all the fret and fever of the day, let there be moments when we turn away, and deaf to all confusing outer din, intently listen for the voice within. In quietness and solitude we find the soundless wisdom of the deeper mind, and clear harmonious purpose let us then bring richer meaning to the world again.
Our meditations and prayers deepen our gratitude for what we know as sacred in our lives and in this world. Each Sunday, we express our gratitude by joining together in service to our community and to something greater than ourselves. The offering collected here does two things. It supports the ongoing work of OUUC, which is also supported by your regular pledges. This offering also supports a local organization that serves our community in harmony with our Unitarian Universalist values and principles. This month, our Share the Plate recipient is Senior Services for South Sound. They appreciate your support of their mission to improve the quality of life for people as they age so they can enjoy life to the fullest. Senior Services for South Sound continues their work even during the pandemic with Meals on Wheels, transportation, the Do You Know a Senior in Need program, and other valuable programs that meet the needs of seniors. Online enrichment classes and virtual fellowship enhance the quality of life for our seniors. Please note that you can participate in the offering by making an online donation through the church website or by texting the number that will appear on your screen in a moment. You can also mail a check to OUUC. Our community partners continue to need our financial support. May the offering now be generously given as it is gratefully received.
Sail on, oh mighty ship of state, to the shores of need, past the griefs of greed, through the squall of hate. Sail on, sail on, sail on, sail on. It's coming through a hole in the air from the nights in Tiananmen Square. It's coming from the feel that it ain't exactly real, or it's real but it ain't exactly there. From the wars against disorder, from the siren nights and day, from the fires of the homeless and the ashes of the gay, democracy is coming to the USA. It's coming through a crack in the wall on a visionary flood of alcohol. From the staggering account of the Sermon on the Mount, which I don't pretend to understand at all. It's coming from the silence of the docks on the bay, from the brave, the bold, the battered heart of Chevrolet. Democracy is coming to the USA. Sail on, oh mighty ship of state, to the shores of need, past the grief, through the squall of hate. Sail on, sail on, sail on, sail on, sail on, sail on.
Thank you for your generous gifts. Our first reading this morning is from Healing the Heart of Democracy, The Courage to Create a Politics Worthy of the Human Spirit by Parker Palmer. I will not ask us to dial down our differences. Democracy gives us the right to disagree and is designed to use the energy of creative conflict to drive positive social change. Partisanship is not the problem. Demonizing the other side is. Our second reading is offered by Reverend Teresa Soto, titled To the People Who Have Mistaken Freedom for Liberation. To be free, you must embrace the breadth of your own existence without apology, even if they try to take it from you. You must know not that you can do whatever you want. You are not a kudzu vine eating entire hillsides for the purpose of feeding your own lush life. You must know instead that inside you our entire universes, milky blue, magenta, and gold, expanding. But to actually be free, you must know and you must fight for the entire universes inside of everyone else. Being free is not a license, but a promise.
It's coming to America first, the cradle of the best and the worst. It's coming, 'cause it's here they got the angle and the machinery for change, and it's here they got the spiritual thirst. It's here the family's broken, and it's here the lonely say that the heart has got to change in a fundamental way. Well, democracy is coming to the USA. I'm sentimental if you know what I mean. I love this country, but I can't stand this scene. And I'm neither left nor right, but I'm staying home tonight, getting lost in this hopeless little screen. But I'm stubborn as those garbage bags that time cannot decay. I'm junk, but I'm still holding up this little wild bouquet. Democracy is coming to the USA. Sail on, oh mighty ship of state, to the shores of need, past the reefs of greed, through the squalls of hate. Sail on, sail on, sail on, sail on, sail on.
Thank you, Troy. When I arrived in Olympia last fall, OUUC member Otto Buells offered this book as a welcome gift, The Big Book of Answers. Now, I thought this was an especially thoughtful gift for your brand new minister. And my goodness, who doesn't want answers? It is indeed a big book, and many Sundays it helps hold up the chalice that you see on my screen. And it is indeed full of answers. This week, when I was seeking answers, praying for answers, I reached for this book. Of course, it didn't tell me who the next president would be or the outcome of the Senate races in Georgia, no surprise there. But it did remind me of the history of our country. In a section labeled Government and Politics, it told about the revolution against the tyranny of the British Crown in the 1770s, the creation of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, and our government over these last 244 years. Presidents, scandals, wars, division, and unity. It helped me remember what an audacious experiment this democracy was and is. It reminded me that United States is an aspiration. And oh, the contradictions. A new country built on land already occupied and taken by force, land stolen from the first peoples. The lofty ideals of liberty and freedom written by men who owned slaves. Creation of a government for the people and of the people that denied voice and vote to women, Black people, anyone who wasn't a white landowning man. Our history has been one of struggle to understand, acknowledge, and reconcile our ideals and our reality. Among the many questions I was asking this week were questions I'd heard echoed in the breakout rooms and chats. How did we get here? How can people believe lies? Why do people support hate? Who are those people? And then I caught myself noticing those people. Over this past year, you've heard me speak about our Unitarian Universalist principles, including the first principle that recognizes the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Our Universalist heritage says that everyone is worthy. Everyone? Even those people? Did I really believe that? As a people of faith, people with beliefs and values, perhaps it's a good thing that we're challenged on occasion. It helps us notice what we believe or what we think we believe and how we behave or not in line with those beliefs. This week has been one of those times for me when I am challenged to notice my beliefs and my actions. Those people, it was time for me to revisit my values and our first principle. This is also a time when we as a country are being challenged to notice our beliefs and values and how we behave. Especially for those of us who are white progressives, these past 4 years have been challenging to say the least. Didn't we make progress on civil rights and the environment? Weren't things getting better? And if nothing else, the voices that we have not heard have been amplified these last 4 years. Those voices of white people who feel ignored and left out of an economy based on access to technology and college education. Voices of those who hold on to an American dream that seems further and further away. Voices of those who want meaningful work to support their families and a future to look forward to, and who were looking for someone to blame for its lack. Those voices remain. And the voices of Black, Indigenous, and people of color who are saying that racism never went away, it just went underground. That violence takes many forms, including economic and institutional. That a culture that values only whiteness and wealth is not healthy for anyone. These voices remain too. How did we get here? So many hearts and bodies broken. There is despair, isolation, misinformation, hostility, mistrust, and disillusionment. How do we help people heal? And how do we heal our democracy? We as a nation have gigantic questions of identity and policy to grapple with. Who exactly are we the people? What is our responsibility to each other and to the common good? What is not supporting our democracy? Voter suppression, gerrymandering, the Electoral College? What about immigration? Healthcare, education, civil rights, a so-called justice system. Are we a democracy, and do we want to be? And we're going to have to talk about power. What if democracy means sharing power? And what if sharing power means that some of us have to let go of some? There are different opinions about each of these issues and very different experiences that inform those opinions. We do not have a shared reality or even a shared story about reality right now. And there are and will be differences. Parker Palmer reminds us that it's not the differences that are a problem, it's demonizing the other side that is the problem. And while it matters who the president is, no one person has the ability to heal what is broken and what has been laid bare. It will take many of us, and we will have to figure out how to do it together. In our religious tradition, we use covenants to define and support our relationships. While we may not use that language in the public square, I come back to the concept of covenant as foundational to our national healing. Before we can even find common ground, we first have to figure out how to be together, how to regain civility so that we can begin to have a conversation in order to even find common ground. And civility requires commitment and responsibility. The best definition of civility that I've found is offered by Thomas Spaeth and Cassandra Denke, founders of the Institute for Civility in Government. They say, civility is claiming and caring for one's identity, needs, and beliefs without degrading someone else's in the process. Civility is claiming and caring for one's identity, needs, and beliefs without degrading someone else's in the process. This is the difference between freedom and liberation, Reverend Teresa Soto tells us in our reading. Being free means that we know that we contain multitudes and we know that others do too, and we fight for those multitudes in all life. In that realization, we act as if being free is not a license, but a promise to listen, to understand, a promise to find inherent worth and dignity in others, and a promise to behave in a way that honors that worth and dignity. And the thing about covenants and agreements of any kind is that sometimes we break them. Most of us break our agreements unintentionally. We hurt others with behavior that is unknowing or unskillful. That's when we accept responsibility, make amends, learn, and grow. And some people break agreements intentionally. There are always those who push boundaries, and sometimes boundaries need to be pushed. But there are bottom line agreements that are to be defended. And I believe our first principle, or civility, if you prefer, is one of them. Recognizing the inherent worth and dignity in ourselves and others means that we do not harm others, and we do not support institutions that harm others. There is no finding common ground with people who deny human worth and who hurt others. We have to be able to recognize and name speech and behavior that is hateful and dehumanizing, and be willing to put boundaries on that behavior in the public square. I am not suggesting that we demonize or ignore those who espouse hate. I am suggesting that we hold them in compassion, we contain their voices, and we hold them accountable for their behavior and the behavior that they incite. Our covenants include accountability for and to each other. I'm not talking about shaming others. I'm talking about honest, direct conversation about what has happened from different perspectives. We have a lot of history to recover and explore, both the founding story of this nation and recent history. It is possible that some of us will feel regret and grief for our part in what has created and caused injustice for others. When we can dialogue with civility, then we can learn and grow. It is ironic that the most immediate threat to our world right now is something that requires united action to confront: the global pandemic. This past week, as we were focused on the election outcome, we had a record number of new cases for 4 days in a row. And the most effective tool that we have right now for bringing the pandemic under some measure of control and for saving lives is masks. Your mask protects me, and my mask protects you. You curtail some of your freedom so that I may be healthy and so that I may live. And I do the same for you. This simple act of wearing a mask is profound, not only in its ability to impact a deadly virus, but in its message to each other. Wearing a mask says to others, you are worthy. And the pandemic is just the most immediate threat to our world. There is another one waiting: the global climate crisis. Some have said that the pandemic is a test of whether we can come together to face a threat to our very existence. As with the pandemic, we, in this case, is the entire world. And it means that those of us who have so much will have to share with those who have less or little. Shared power, wealth, technology, and resources. Will we be willing to act as if everyone is worthy? Over this past week, I have come to more fully understand that our democracy is fragile and it is a work in progress. I would even say that the work to build our democracy is a spiritual practice. The spiritual practice of democracy, named in our fifth principle, grounded in our shared values. In the weeks and months ahead, there is much work to do as we practice our democracy, as we heal our democracy. And the magnitude seems pretty overwhelming right now. Here's what I've been pondering. Self-government begins close to home, in our relationships, our neighborhoods, our city, and in our faith community. This year, we plan to revisit the OUUC vision, mission, and ends or goals. As a community, we have some big questions to ask and answer too, and we're not going to find them in the big book of answers. I'm curious about how we can help build the skills of democracy in our congregation and in our community. Skills like listening across differences while setting and keeping boundaries. I have also heard that many of you want to revisit our congregational covenant, the agreements that we make about being together. Creating and maintaining a covenant is also a skill of democracy. How might the practice of democracy show up in our covenant as well? This past week has been historic in so many ways. A record number of people participated in our democratic process by voting, and we elected the first woman to high office, a woman of color. Democracy is coming to the USA. Yesterday, President-elect Joe Biden wrote that democracy beats deep in the heart of America. As we share a moment of silent reflection together, I offer this prayer. May democracy beat deep in the heart of people. We, the people, all people. And may the rhythm of our shared heartbeat set the cadence for our march toward liberty and justice for all. Let's be in silence together.
Let's sing together hymn number 108, My Life Flows On in Endless Song. My life flows on in endless song, above earth's lamentation. I hear the real, though far off hymn, that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? What though the tempest around me roars, I know the truth it liveth. What though the darkness around me close, songs through the night it giveth. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging, since love prevails in heaven and earth. How can I keep from singing? When tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing, when friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? To prison cells and dungeons file, our thoughts to them are winging, when friends by shame are undefiled. How can I keep from singing?
We extinguish our chalices together with these words from the Dhammapada, the collected sayings of the Buddha. Never does hatred cease by hating in return. Only through love can hatred come to an end. Victory breeds hatred. The conquered dwell in sorrow and resentment. They who give up all thought of victory or defeat may be calm and live happily in peace. Let us overcome violence by gentleness. Let us overcome evil by good. Let us overcome the miserly by liberality. Let us overcome the liar by truth. Let us be peace.
Let's sing together our unison benediction. How bountiful the blessings that surround us. We come together, grateful to be one. As we go